What an idea.
Yeah, what a crazy idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, my family came over here in the 1920s from both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And they came over from Europe with this idea that, you know, America was better than what was available in Italy and Ireland. And, you know, that was something that had already been really pretty well established. Go 100 years earlier than that, 200 years earlier than that. These are incredible risks that these people took.
Yeah. They were, you know, and you have to sort of marvel at it. At the same time, ask yourself, would you do that? You know, I don't think so.
Well, yeah, we can look at it from that perspective, marvel at it, but man, from the perspective of the natives that lived here, what a horrific invasion and what a devastating effect it had on their way of life, their culture, and how much is missing from their cultural memory because of this devastation of 90% of their population.
Yeah. Except for the Black Death, this was the most horrific thing that has ever happened in recorded human history to Indian peoples in the New World. Nothing remotely approaches it, except the Black Death, except the bubonic plague. And even then, when you consider it, when you track it over time, bubonic plague, of course, came in waves, occasional waves. If you look at this as one story over 400 years, it's by itself. Nothing like it.
Well, it's not only by itself for human beings, but it's also by itself for native wildlife, which is another incredible aspect of this story of American expansion. I watched the Ken Burns documentary on the American buffalo,
right.
And you were in that as well.
Yes.
And in that, as well as Steve Ranella, and that is a crazy story. That no wildlife in this country can survive being a commodity. And
it might survive, but it's going to have a real tough time.
Barely.
That's right.
Barely.
Yeah.
I mean, we had to put the brakes on it in order for it to survive. I mean,
And we were able to put the brakes on it because it was no longer profitable. As long as it's a profitable commodity.
Yeah.
It's in real trouble.
But that also contributed to the demise of Native Americans.
Of course.
Particularly the ones who hunted the buffalo.
That's right. Well, not just the buffalo. Buffalo were just, the most dramatic example of dozens, scores of species of animals in the New World in North America that were driven to this, either to extinction completely or really close to it. Dan Flores, I think he's been on your
yes, a couple
show.
times.
Yeah, Dan has this marvelous new book, A Wild New World, that goes into that in some detail and describes it. And as I remember from the book, Dan says that at no point in modern history have so many different species been eradicated so quickly.
So quickly.
Yeah, and of course, you made the essential point. What that is, it's not just that they're being hunted and exploited for the profit of people who are coming into. That's really part of an even larger process that is the complete transformation of a world. That's one of the things that I try to emphasize in this book. Between 1850 and 1880, the western third of North America was literally remade. Ecologically, not just culturally, socially, ecologically. It was made over into a new world. And that world, of course, was not one that native peoples knew how to work. Their existence relied on them relied on centuries of knowledge gained from this intricate understanding and use, this sort of choreographed life of this place, relying upon its resources. Animals, also plants, of course, crops and so forth. And the Europeans come in and they just transform it.